Hey, this is Joe from SoFly, and in this video, we are going to export WooCommerce orders to email using WPL export. So you can see here, I already have an export set up, and it's a pretty simple one. Let's check it out. So this is all it is, right? Just the order ID, order date, and the billing name. We can see a preview over here. That's what it looks like. And then we have all of our order data over here. We can drag and drop to set it up. Now, if you're interested in setting up your WooCommerce order export, check out our documentation, check out our YouTube channel. We have a lot of videos on how to set this up. I'm just going to assume that you already kind of have an idea about how you want your export set up. You just want to have it sent via email. So we have our export over here. Let's go over to Zapier. So this is how we're going to set up our email. So we'll go over here to create Zap, and we have our trigger. Now the trigger is going to be WP all export. There we go. And the event, we have two options: new export file and real-time export completed. Now, new export file, this is your standard export, right? You just get an email, and pretty much the only thing you can do is include a link to the export file or attach the actual export file to the email. Right? We don't get to see what's inside of that data. We can't say, what products were exported or individual order totals, or like, sum up all the order total data and be like, okay, we had, $500 in orders this week. Can't do that. What we can do is we can just email the export file. The other option we have here is real-time export completed. So the way real-time exports work, we set up our export just like normal, but then we make it a real-time export. And what that does is every time we get a new WooCommerce order on our site, it's going to run the export, and it's just going to export that one single order. If we do that here in Zapier, we get to access all of the information about that order. The order, for example, like the order total, the products that were exported, or the products that were ordered, etc. Right? So if you're interested in real-time exports, if that's what you actually want to do, check out our YouTube channel, check out our documentation. We have more information on real-time exports, how to export WooCommerce orders one by one over there. In this case, we're just going to select new export file and continue. I've already linked my account. It's pretty straightforward how to do that. It just explains it here in the user interface. And then we'll continue, and it's going to test our trigger. What that's going to do is it's going to download the most recent run of my export and use that so we can continue with this process. So we're good over there. Now we're going to set up our action, right? What's going to happen after that export completes? So we'll search for email, and then we'll use email by Zapier. And then our event, send outbound email. So our trigger, new export file created in WPL Export Pro, send an outbound email. So we'll continue. We're going to send this email to wpaivideos@sofly.com. Little testing email address. Feel free to email it. We will not reply. Nobody checks the email for this one. Our subject is going to be new order export complete. You can make this whatever you want. And then down here we have the body. And this is all of the information that we can attach and use here in the body, right? Pretty limited. The only real thing is you can say like how many records are exported, and then a link to the file. And you can attach the export file there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some text over here. We'll say this week we had how many orders we had, right? Okay, and then our attachment over here, export file. This is the actual file. We can also, if we want to, we can add the link, export file URL, right? A little bit redundant, but at least you get to see both options here. From name, WPL Export Pro with a capital P. That's from us, and then we leave all this blank, pretty self-explanatory over here. All right, then we'll continue. We'll test the step, and that's going to send us an email over here. So let's check. Okay, test is complete. There is my email. Open it up. There we go. So that's the most recent run of my export. And you can see here, go ahead and download this. Open it up. And there it is. That's my export. Just had 2 orders in it. I had a filter on there. So now let's finish this up. We have to add one more step in here, right? So right now this is set up so that a new export file is created in WPL Export Pro, send out outbound email. I only have one export over here, right? So every time I run this, I just get an email sent. But if I create another export, where I have two, if I run that second export, this is going to run. I only want this email to be sent for this export ID 48. So let's add a filter. Go over here, do that again for you just so you can see it. So over here, we click this plus, right? That's a add a step. So we can add a second action in between. So we'll go over here and we'll filter. And our filter is going to be, we're going to choose a field and we're going to look for export ID. Export ID exactly matches 48. We'll continue. Done. So new exports created. Only continue if the export ID is 48. Send outbound email. We'll call this order export to email. Give my Zap a name. And then we'll continue over here. Continue. Done. Now we're going to publish this. And this is on. Okay, so let's go ahead and run my export. Okay, so let's confirm and run the export. I'm going to let this run. It'll take a few minutes and we'll be back when it's finished. Okay, so our export is complete. Let's go over here. Check my email. We got a second one over here and that's it. So let's download it and check it out. Open it up. And there you go. So this was the export version of the export that I had previously. This is the new version that ran. And there we go. There's all my orders. So the next thing, the last thing that we want to check out here is scheduling, right? So we can set up this export so that it runs automatically every Monday at midnight. So if we save our scheduling options, then this export runs every week. The only thing we want to do is we want to go over here to our settings. We have our scheduling options here, and we want to enable only export orders once. So now every Monday at midnight, I'm going to get an email and it's going to have all of the orders that were created in the last week, right? Pretty useful stuff. So that is all it takes to export WooCommerce orders to email using WPL Export. Now there's a lot more that WPL Export can do. Check out our documentation, check out our YouTube channel. We have tons of content on importing and exporting data from WordPress, WooCommerce, WooCommerce products, WooCommerce orders, WooCommerce users, everything. Check it out. Very powerful stuff. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.